So we're going to start with something I like to call constant wins. And this isn't so much a single button, but buttons that you'll add to each step of your course that give your students just enough dopamine to make it to the next step. And this is a powerful idea straight from the world of apps and games, where every little thing that you do, every button press, every action, every power up, every enemy you defeat, every action, it's like rewarded in some way. It could be rewarded with an animation, with earning bonus points, a sound effect, a color, or a combination of all these things. And as a player, this kind of constant positive feedback, it makes you feel like you're making forward progress, like you're achieving something. And this is why the more you play, the more you get addicted. And apps and games are sneaky. Have you ever noticed that they always make the very few first wins super duper easy? So no matter who you are, you can win. So think about it. If the first level of an app or game beat you, you'd be so much less likely to want to continue, right? But instead, they give you a super easy win to make you feel like you're just naturally talented. And then they move on right to the next win, which is a little bit harder, maybe just by a couple percent, but enough to be noticeable. But you can probably still win. And the simple cycle just continues. So each task is slightly harder than the last, but there's always a win waiting for you afterward. You take action, you get better, you win. You take action, you get better, and you win again. And that's like pushing the dopamine button over and over again. So the reward center in your brain just stays lit. It's motivating and it's addictive. So I call this the action reward cycle. And most apps and games use this action reward cycle to drive addiction, causing billions of people to waste trillions of hours of time and a whole lot of money. But like I said, there is a hero in this story. This action reward cycle doesn't have to be used to drive addiction. It can also be used to empower people towards a result or transformation. So how would you like to learn how to use the action reward cycle to drive results and transformation in your online courses, to get your students, your clients, your customers the results they really want? So let me know in the chat if you'd like to do this. Okay, I see a lot. Yes. Well, yes. Fantastic. Woo, that's a lot of yeses going very, very fast. Okay, so what would happen to your course sales if you developed a reputation for getting your customers into life-changing action from moment one of day one and keeping them motivated all the way to mission accomplished? So the first time she implemented the strategy, personal development guru Mary Morrissey reached 65% over her projected revenue for her new Spiritual Secrets for Multiplying Your Money course. And she saw 36% of her students complete the program, which led to 50 new testimonials from happy and engaged students. So that's what's possible for you with these strategies, because I want you to remember that when your students win, you win. When your students win, you win. So as you've seen, the typical pattern in traditional online courses is work, give up. And a big reason why is because you have to put in so much effort before you see any real results. It's like you have to wait all the way to the end of the program before you see a win. Now, can you imagine if a video game put you in a cycle of play without any wins and any rewards along the way? Absolutely not. Wouldn't that be the world's worst game? Well, that right there, my friends, is the biggest reason why most online courses fail and why most students give up before they complete. So without consistent wins and rewards along the way, it's hard to stay motivated despite your best intentions, especially when you can turn on your cell phone and get your dopamine button pushed over and over again. But the app and the game industry, it didn't invent the idea of constant wins. The reward center is one of the most ancient parts of our brain that has driven all human effort and innovation for hundreds of thousands of years, driving us to build the 7 wonders of the world and the modern day miracles of medicine, technology, and a whole lot more. Our natural reward system has caused us to fly to the outer regions of space, to descend to the bottom of the ocean, to break world record after world record. So let me ask you, if that ancient part of our brain can be a record-breaking Olympian when it's properly motivated, and a total couch potato when it's not, then surely tapping into this natural chemistry of motivation should be job number 1 as you design and market your programs and courses. Am I right? So if you agree, then type job number 1 into the chat. Just let me know if you can see just how important this is to your success. If you're in the business of helping people with your knowledge, advice, and programs, then building constant wins into your student experience is mission critical because constant wins is what drives human achievement. And as you can see, constant wins can also be used in a positive way to drive results and not just addiction. When you implement constant wins into your course, you can fire up the reward center in your students' brains to give them the rewarding and engaging experience that they've been looking for. An experience that removes overwhelm while ramping them up. And this is very important. You want to ramp them up from small, simple actions and wins to larger and larger actions and rewards. So before they know it, they're doing things they never been able to do before, maybe even things they didn't even think were possible for them. So when you work with the reward center in your student's brain and you embed these dopamine buttons in your course, I'm going to show you a few ways to do that now, you're going to create this almost addictive experience that empowers your students to put down their cell phones and pick up your courses or your training instead and motivates them to keep moving forward. And the thing to keep in mind here is that incorporating constant wins, it's not about turning what you do into a video game. Not at all. It's simply about structuring your course so your students feel like they're winning and making progress each and every time they engage with you. That's it. That's the goal. Is that making sense? So I see a lot of people writing job number 1 here in the chat. Job number 1. Yes, 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 yes. Excellent. So now I want to show you some examples of how we're doing this in our courses and how some of our students are doing this in their courses too. Then I'm going to show you 2 other ways you can embed the dopamine button in your courses to set your students up to win. In our courses, we make it possible for our students to win points every single time they take an action. And we call these experience points or XPs. Now, many games use experience points, so they might sound familiar to you. And a few online education platforms out there make it possible for you and your students to earn points in one way or another. So here's what happens at our membership site when a student completes a training. Like get 1 XP in here, signature ka-ching, and when they complete an action, they check it off and get a ka-ching, ka-ching. So essentially what's happening is just they watch the training and they get a ka-ching. And they complete an action, they get a ka-ching, ka-ching. And that's super duper important because people are feeling like they're winning. And as you can see, we implemented a point system so it reinforces each constant win in 4 different ways. The first is kinesthetically, since you're physically checking off a box. Visually, since you see the checkbox appear and you watch your XP counter tick upwards. Audibly, as you hear the ka-ching sound, and emotionally, as you feel like you're making progress towards something you really want to achieve. Whether that's launching your online course, losing 20 pounds, or getting soulmate ready. And you might be asking yourself, well, Marisa, does something so simple as a ka-ching really work with grown adults? And the answer's a resounding yes. We've had people swap their gaming addiction for a learning addiction. Robin was saying, like, just being able to watch this working on herself was so dramatic. She loved it. She kind of felt addicted to it. And as addictions go, this one felt like a healthy one. And then Debbie said, the wins became addictive. So this is what happens when you create a course experience that works with rather than against our natural reward system. So let me give you some more examples. The Duolingo language learning app, it awards a big check mark and a happy sound every time you get an answer right. And that leads to big points and leaderboards. Now, this is so effective that an independent study showed that 34 hours on Duolingo is just as effective as a whole college semester. And this isn't just for education. You can use constant wins to drive actions or even chores. So here's an example from Our Home, which uses a point system to create constant wins around everyday personal or household tasks. And then it allows you to create rewards for specific point levels like dinner out or movie night. So however you want to incentivize your family to do things like brushing their teeth or washing the dishes, you'll also see other creative expressions of constant wins in apps like Asana for project management, where every time you complete a task, a unicorn just jumps across your screen, right? And then here are a few of the animations you'll see when someone completes a module inside of our membership site platform, Experienceify. Now, here's my favorite one. It's a monkey lifting weights, right? And it doesn't really get better than that. So I love these ones. Or maybe you prefer what I call the Buddha Ninja. Here's the Buddha Ninja. Or summiting the mountain and seeing fireworks at the top, right? These are all different things that you can do. So let me check in with you really quickly. Just looking at some of these wins and some of these celebrations. Do you feel anything looking at some of these wins and these celebrations without even taking the actions? Let me know if, you haven't taken the actions yet, but do you feel anything at all just from hearing and seeing these wins? Let me know in the chat how you're feeling. So I say, yes, happy feelings, says Maddie. How do you create those? Absolutely. I want it. Yes. Yes. Positivity, feeling it. Wow. Cheerful. Love this. Happy feeling. Sure. Okay. Rewarded. Positive. Wow. Okay. Definitely. So you can see what we're talking about now, right? You can start to see what we're talking about. And you didn't even have to take any of the actions to start to see what we're talking about right here, right? So it looks like we're starting to get the dopamine flowing here in this workshop just by experiencing constant wins vicariously like this. And are you starting to see how engaging these small wins can actually be and how fun it can be to learn and take action? So I know I'm feeling good just talking about it. So now that you understand what constant wins look like, I want to show you in detail how you can structure your courses and programs to use points to press that dopamine button over and over for your students before moving on to 2 additional ways you can activate the reward center in your courses that don't relate to points or what most people might call gamification. But first, let's dive deeper into how you can use a point system to start building momentum fast. So just like in the video game examples that we talked about, you want to begin by immediately giving your students a few easy wins, which make them feel smart and capable and allow them to earn some points right away from the moment they arrive in your course membership site. So the very easiest way you can do that is through something that we call pre-actions. And these are the small, simple housekeeping tasks that you'd love students to take before they dive into the meat and potatoes of your course. So you might want to include simple things like adding all the upcoming live training dates to their calendar, blocking out 30 minutes a day to do the course, joining the program Facebook group and introducing themselves, completing your intake survey, preparing your space, buying any needed supplies, even inviting a friend to join them in the program or whatever makes sense for your course. And you want to make sure that each item is super fast and super easy to do, and it allows your students to earn 1 point. So they may have racked up 3 to 6 points within a few minutes of signing up for your program, and they're already feeling like they're making progress even before they dive in to the actual content of the course. And doing this has 3 huge benefits.